And talking about distribution of green space, I don't know if you know that, but it's my favorite KPI of all. And it's somewhat a hidden KPI. We haven't really brought it up so much before. So today I will try to explain it and see if you can share my love for this KPI. And here you can see a typical map from HUGSI, a random city. I don't know if someone knows, can recognize what it is. I won't tell you. But you can see that we have the hexagons, the dots, the pixels in this maps. And the green ones, of course, contain vegetation. And the gray ones, they are mainly hard-made surface. And of course, this map shows only the most common class. So there could be vegetation also in these, but low numbers. Doesn't matter. But in this map, we can visually see and understand if the distribution is good. Do we see green dots all over? Well, I think this example would be that it's not super distributed. You can still see lots of coherent gray areas connected. So it's not perfect. But the point here is that with our eye, we can naturally see on this picture. But how can we transform and convert this visual representation into numbers? And I will show that, because with numbers we can compare, we can rank, we can rate, and all of that. So what we do, these hexagons, as I said, contains data and values. So looking at the green percentage of each hexagon, that means that we can put them all on a line, like that. These are the individual hexagons. We put them on a line and we order them in numeric order. And this is one example. One city with two hexagons here with extremely high green space, one with very low, and some are totally empty when it comes to green space. Then we have city number 2, where we can see lower numbers, but still all hexagons have a number. And what we do, we put them out on a line, and then we take the median value. So the median of this indicates the distribution of the green in the city. So for city number 1, the number is 10%. For city number 2, it's 30%. So that's how we can convert this graphical representation into a number that we can actually use in the statistics. So that's this KPI for you, but how can we make use of it? Well, one thing is just to put them out on a line like this. And my point here is that we could actually do things for city planning with this KPI. And I think that's super interesting. And here we have put out all the different categories. And this is the average population of each category. And then we have the blue line, which is the distribution, and the green line, which is the green percentage. So I think we all agree, and that was very expected, that the higher population density, the lower we have the green percentage, and also the distribution, based on what I already talked about with the competition of land use. And that's expected. But what I find really, really interesting is what happened here in the middle here with the medium category. The blue line is crossing the green line. So here we start to have more green percentage than the distribution. So that means that here we have more of the larger parks or green areas and less distributed green out in the cities where people are living and working and spending time. Nothing wrong with parks or big green spaces. That's perfect. That's terrific. But it's of course also important to preserve the access to green for people living in these cities. And of course that's a challenge, but there's lots of ways you can do that with pocket parks and green roofs and green walls and stuff like that. But still, this shows the struggle, and it's interesting that it's happening here. That's where we can see this line when the lines are crossing. So this is a great tool for you to look at your city, which category you're in, how can you benchmark with these cities, how can you find a plan for pushing the blue line above the green line, because I truly believe that having well-distributed green beats more green, probably. But they are also, of course, related. To get better distribution, also need more green. But accessibility and access to green is super important, and that's a way to show that is the distribution number. So I hope that I've been able to spread the love for this KPI a bit more, but there's more. This is an example of showing 3 different cities. Abidjan in Ivory Coast with very high population density, Athens in Greece with a high population density, and Charlotte in US with low population density. And looking at the numbers, we don't have to look at the numbers really. We can see that this is not a very well distributed green space. You have it in the outskirts, very gray in the middle. In Greece, we can start to see that there are green spots here also inside the city. And of course, that indicates more distribution, and that we can also see on the numbers. And with Charlotte, we can see green almost across every part of the city. And we can also see that they have an extremely high distribution. So here you can really see it and see the difference and see how it relates to the distribution KPI, but also how you can make use of this KPI. So I don't know, perhaps I've been able to share my love for this KPI and you see the value of actually treating this as a main KPI for city planning.